All right, now that we've talked about the energy and the process, let's talk about some reaction types of reactions. So there's some common types of reactions that we're going to look at. Okay, so I've given you guys 5 types. Now these are some pretty straightforward reactions. So we can look at how these reactions start, and then later in the week we'll look at some specific chemical reactions. Where it gets really exciting is when you understand these different types of reactions, you can actually have reactions that are a multi-step reaction, where you might have two things combined and then you have a single replacement and double replacement all working together. So a good example would be like photosynthesis is actually a process of a series of reactions working together of different types. So understanding these reactions will help us interpret entire biological processes. So that's actually pretty cool. So let's just look at some of these reactions. You have a combination reaction, decomposition reaction. You can kind of understand one's the reverse of the other, right? Two things come together, two things come apart. Single replacement reaction, where something replaces another. And then double replacement actions, where two things replace each other. So these are some pretty straightforward models. And then this is a combustion reaction, and a combustion reaction has two things going on. One, it has to involve oxygen, and then it involves it's an exothermic reaction. So combustion, think of like a combustion engine, right? You have your car, right? And the gas comes into the cylinder, right? And then there's some air. So your fuel injectors shoot gas and air into the cylinder. Then that explodes, that drives the piston up, which then turns the camshaft, right? All that stuff working together. So combustion reactions are how your car's engines work. So for milestone 2, I've given you guys some chemical reactions, and I want you to figure out what type of reaction it is. And then I want you guys to make some guesses about some of these, what these large numbers are in the chemical reactions. All right, so think about what goes on with a balanced chemical equation, right? We're balancing out the charges. These large numbers, what are we balancing out? Okay, so I've given you guys some hints, right? If you think of a math equation, 2 times x plus 1 is the same as 2x plus 2, right? So what do you think these numbers, these large numbers do? How does that relate to what's going on with the reaction? So another piece is we have two sides of the chemical reaction. The left side is the reactants. The right side is the products, okay? So think about those large numbers. You don't have to get it right, but come up with some ideas about why we use those large numbers. You might remember that if it was covered during first semester. All right, so that's all I'm looking for this assignment. And I want you guys to really try and understand this stuff and ask questions. And then on Thursday, we'll explore this stuff a little bit more. And then during the shortened week, I'd like to explore more with chemical reactions, but more of an engagement exercise, not assignment where you turn something in. So please put some time into this stuff. It combines everything we've been learning since we went remote. So it's a good chance to really make sure you absorb the material.